kind enough to give the US a second chance when it comes to their property. Let's just hope it's done by people who actually gets it. After the release of 2004's Godzilla Final Wars, marking the 50th anniversary of the Godzilla film franchise, Toho announced that it would not produce any films featuring the Godzilla character for 10 years. Toho even demolished the water stage on its lot used in numerous Godzilla films to stage water scenes. Long live that history of that, thing. Anyway, TriStar Pictures, remember them, which had made the 1988 Godzilla film, sorry for the PTSD there, and held the rights to make a trilogy of films, let its rights expire in 2003. But they still have most of the rights for the Heisei series, excluding The Return of Godzilla and Biollante, and the Millennium Era. Can anyone explain to me why? So, do you remember the former director Yoshimitsu Banno? Well, he still wanted to make a sequel to Godzilla vs. Hedorah, but fate and plans would soon change. In August of 2004, Mr. Banno announced that he had secured the rights from Toho to make a Godzilla IMAX 3D short film at his Advanced Audiovisuals Production AAP company. The film was tentatively titled Godzilla 3D to the Max because 3D, am I right? And was to be the remake of the Godzilla vs. Hedorah story. In 2005, American Peter Anderson, ASC, was added to the project as cinematographer, visual effects supervisor, and co-producer by an independent producer, Kenji Okihira, who represented Banno. In 2007, also through Anderson, Kerner Optical then came on board to develop the technology and to produce the 3D film, and with Kerner's backing in the fall of 2007, the team met with Toho in Tokyo, where they renegotiated their license to allow the release of a feature-length 3D theatrical production. Unfortunately, in 2008, Kerner was facing financial troubles that threatened to cancel the production. But 1 year later, Rogers, Anderson, and the then proposed director, Keith Melton, met with Legendary Pictures to get their backing on a 3D theatrical film. In 2010, it was greenlit by Legendary to go to production. From the Godzilla 3D production team, Banno and Okihira would remain on the project as executive producers and Rogers as a producer. 1 year earlier, rumors surfaced that Legendary was in talks with Toho to produce a new American Godzilla film to be released in 2012. And on March 29, 2010, Legendary officially announced its acquisition of the Godzilla license. According to Hideyuki Take, president of Toho Company at the time, he said, "We are delighted in rebooting the character together to realize its much anticipated return by fans from all over the world. We are anxious to find out where Godzilla's new stomping grounds will take us." Legendary announced it would reboot the franchise with Warner Brothers co-producing and co-financing. Legendary announced it would make the new film closer in style to the original 54 film rather than the I just got PTSD there, sorry about that, rather than the 1998 film and its iguana-like creature. According to Thomas Tull, chairman and CEO of Legendary Pictures, he stated, "Our plans are to produce the Godzilla that we as fans would want to see. We intend to do justice to those essential elements that have allowed this character to remain as pop culturally relevant for as long as it has." Producer Brian Rogers confirmed a targeted release date for 2012. The reboot will be a live-action project featuring a fully computer-generated Godzilla battling two other monsters rather than simply the military as seen in Emmerich's 98 film. And I got PTSD again. Rogers also confirmed that the two Godzilla head designs online, rumored to have been designed by Legendary and sent to Toho for approval, were fake. Rogers also stressed his and Legendary's wishes to revive Godzilla in the same fashion Legendary had revived Batman. In October of 2010, it was rumored that Guillermo del Toro was approached to direct the film, to which del Toro himself later denied. In January of 2011, Gareth Edwards was announced as the director for the film. The film remained in development into 2012, missing the planned release date. Edwards worked on his vision for the film at a stage at the Warner Brothers lot. The production team developed Godzilla models, artwork, and pre-visualizations of the action scenes of the movie. From the lot, Edwards directed a short teaser video shown to Legendary executives and later shown at the San Diego Comic-Con International in July of 2012. But the teaser itself wouldn't be uploaded on the internet, and everyone was furious. But then, on December 10th, 2013, this happened. The first trailer was released online and was attached to the theatrical showings of The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug in select theaters. 2 months later, on February 25th, 2015, the second trailer dropped. It revealed more scenes of destruction by Godzilla on San Francisco and Las Vegas, supposedly, brief glimpses of other creatures, as well as a conspiracy plot intertwined with the atomic blast tests in the Pacific Ocean in 1954. Several more trailers were released, with variations in North America, Japan, Asia, outside of Japan, and internationally. Afterwards, the King would show up in Snickers commercials and a Fiat car commercial. Alright, be honest. Who in the world didn't see that coming? If you say you did, I'ma call you a liar. Finally, after many ads and silly commercials later, Godzilla, a 2K14 edition, was released on May 16th, 2014. And before I can get into the plot itself, I'm going to take a 2-minute break. I'll be right back. Alright, so without any further delay, let's begin. Spoilers are up ahead, you have been warned. In 1954, Godzilla, a prehistoric alpha predator, is lured to Bikini Atoll in an attempt to kill him with a nuclear bomb. Good luck with that. In 1999, Monarch scientists Ishiro Serizawa and Vivian Graham investigate the skeleton of a monster similar to Godzilla in a cavern unearthed by a collapsed uranium mine in the Philippines. They also find 2 giant spores, one dormant and one hatched, along with a trail leading to the sea. In Japan, the Genjiro nuclear power plant experiences unusual seismic activity as Supervisor Joe Brody sends his wife Sandra to lead a team of technicians into the reactor. A tremor breaches the reactor, forcing Joe to close the reactor door before Sandra and her team can escape while the plant collapses. Oh, very dear. Fast forward to 15 years later, Joe and Sandra's son Ford, a U.S. Navy explosive ordnance disposal officer, returns from a tour of duty to his wife Ellie and his son Sam in San Francisco, but must immediately depart for Japan after Joe is detained for trespassing in Genjiro's quarantine zone. Quarantine, why does that sound so familiar? Joe is determined to find out the cause of the meltdown and persuades Ford to accompany him to retrieve vital data from their old home, which is in Genjiro, by the way. They discover the zone is uncontaminated and retrieve the data, but are discovered and taken to a facility in the plant's ruins. The facility harbors a massive chrysalis that had been feeding off the plant's reactors for 15 years and emitting strong electromagnetic pulses over time. My question is, how in the world did these idiots not figure that out? A giant winged insect-like creature emerges from the chrysalis and escapes, destroying the facility. Joe, in the process, is severely injured and later dies. Aw, that's a bummer. The incident is reported as an earthquake. Salazar and Graham join a U.S. Navy task force led by Admiral William Stentz to search for the creature dubbed MUTO, that is short for Massive Unidentified Terrestrial Organism. Salazar and Graham revealed to Ford that a 1954 deep-sea expedition awaiting Godzilla and the nuclear tests in the 1950s were really attempts to kill him, and when this did not work, Project Monarch was established to secretly study Godzilla and similar monsters. They also explained the MUTO caused the Genjiro meltdown. Ford reveals Joe had monitored echolocation signals indicating the MUTO was communicating with something, presumably Godzilla. Calling out a predator. Smart. The MUTO attacks a Russian submarine and drops it in Oahu, to eat its nuclear material. Godzilla arrives, causing a massive tsunami in Honolulu. Yikes! Briefly engages the MUTO in battle until the MUTO itself flees away. Too bad we didn't get to see that fight. Salazar deduces the MUTO was communicating with something else, prompting the military to investigate the other spores stored in the Yucca Mountain nuclear waste repository in Nevada. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if there is a giant monster near Las Vegas, do not expect that giant monster to attack your city. This is what you get for gambling all day and night. Bunch of fucking degenerates. The scientists deduced that it was a female and was what the male was communicating with, their signals being a mating call. Oh dear God. Over the scientists' objectives, Stentz approves a plan to use nuclear warheads to lure all three monsters out to the open ocean, and destroy all three of them. Bad idea number 1. Use a warhead. Returning to the U.S., Ford joins the team delivering the warheads by train, but the female MUTO intercepts them and devours most of the warheads. Bad idea number 2. Deliver said nukes by train. The remaining warhead is airlifted with Ford to San Francisco, where the monsters are converging and activated after Godzilla appears at the Golden Gate Bridge, only for the male MUTO to snatch it and take it to the female, who forms a nest around it in the Chinatown area. While Godzilla and the MUTOs battle, Ford and a strike team enter the city via halo jump to find and disarm the warhead before it detonates. By the way, that halo jump scene is magnificent. Flawless execution. Unable to access the timer, the team gets the warhead on a boat for disposal at sea, while Ford destroys the nest. Godzilla defeats the MUTOs and collapses on shore from exhaustion. Also, I should mention this, the way he executed the female is so Mortal Kombat, it's glorious. You don't believe me? Well, here you go. Call flawless victory. Anyway, Ford gets the boat out to open sea, gets rescued before the warhead detonates. I'm pretty sure that nuke is still too close, and reunites with his family at the emergency shelter the following morning. The journey that this man just went through, holy Christ, give this man the Medal of Honor. Godzilla reawakens and returns to the sea, while the media dubs him the king of the monsters and speculate whether he might be a savior. Nice foreshadow there. I'm going to take a 3-minute break. I'll be right back. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm about to talk about numbers. Legendary estimated that the film needs to gross $380 million worldwide to break even. Luckily, not only did that even happen, but the movie grossed $9.3 million in North America at early Thursday screenings, one of the best late-night openings for a non-sequel movie, and $93.2 million for the entire weekend, making it the fifth highest grossing film opening weekend in 2014. The movie earned a whopping $529 million worldwide against a production budget of $160 million, print and advertising costs of $100 million. Needless to say, it did business and bank. Even critically, it was received positive reviews, and I wish I could get into most of them, but I'll be here all day. Also, those critics' reviews are so long it feels like I'm actually reading a page out of a fucking novel. And I would know that because I managed to get my hands on a novel called Godzilla Returns by Mark Saraceni. Highly recommend, by the way. It should be on Amazon. Speaking of which, why haven't I finished it yet? With that said, let's get into my review. Boy, I remember it like it was yesterday. Alright, gather around, children, so I can tell you a tale. I was sitting in science class in high school going through Twitter because, yeah, I'm that kind of kid, when all of a sudden I see the tweet and the link to the teaser trailer, and after I watched that teaser trailer, good God almighty, I nearly creamed my pants with sheer delight, and I'm not afraid to say it. And when May 16th rolled around, I was so excited because it was the first time that I will be able to see a Godzilla movie in theaters. And back then, I absolutely loved it because it wasn't what we had before. We actually got what we wanted. With that being said, what do I think of this movie right now? It's good, but not perfect, as with any movie I review on this show. The story takes a very simple approach to it, to which I actually like, though I wish some things could have improved along the way. Now, while I do like the characters, I just wish they had more personality. There are sprinkles of it, but not much. And second, I do love Bryan Cranston in this movie. He does steal the first half of the movie. No doubt about that. But I do wish he was in it more often. That's not to say, he was the only one. Ken Watanabe is the second best thing in this movie. Also, I just wish he was more utilized. Moving on to the monsters, holy Christ, they got the king right this time. Yes, my only complaint with him is that I don't get to see him often throughout the movie, but to be honest, I didn't care. Design-wise, to quote Jeremy Jahns, he's Dino Jesus and he looks like Godzilla. I like the addition of gills in his neck. Now, let's talk about the roar. According to Edwards, sound designer Edward, I'm not even going to pronounce that last name, improved on the original sound effect provided by Toho, which will be this one. Eric and his fellow sound designer Ethan spent 6 months over the 3-year production getting the roar right. Using microphones that could record sound inaudible to humans, the team found sounds to match the initial shriek and the finishing bellow. The new roar retains the musical key and cadence of the roar, going from a C to a D. The final version was the 50th the team had produced, and this is where it gets even more interesting. The pair tested the roar on a backlot at Warner Brothers using a Tor speaker array for the Rolling Stones and estimated that it could be heard from about 3 miles away, at max volume no less. And of course they got some complaints from the other studios in Hollywood. With that said, his new roar is... Hold on a second. Here we go. Had to buckle up for this one. His new roar is intense. Don't worry, I'm okay. Ow. Anyway, both the male and the female MUTOs, they're alright. They're okay. Some aspects of the design screams a reference to something. The cinematography is magnificent. The way that director Edwards shoots the monster scenes is nothing short but genius. And every time Godzilla was on screen, even though short, was awesome. Even though I should say that some of the sound effects are missing. It's very, very, very noticeable. The music by Alexander Desplat is actually pretty good. It fits well with the movie, and that's all that matters. My personal highlights are the tracks Godzilla, The Wave, Golden Gate Chaos, Enter the Nest, 2 Against 1, and Last Shot. My personal favorite, Ford Rescued. Sadly, I wish I can play these tracks, but I can't because of copyright issues. Thanks, YouTube. Overall, Godzilla 2K14 edition is a really good movie that revives the franchise in a good way, earning my final grade of 83 kisses of death out of 100. Buy this movie digitally. Note that I did not say Blu-ray because in the Blu-ray, you literally cannot see anything. So get it in digital. It's much more easier to see. Alright, that'll about do it for this episode. If you want more thoughts and First Amendment opinions on kaiju movies, video games, and anime, then stay tuned right here on the Brumakian podcast and subscribe to Brumakian Productions for more juicy content. This has been Demetrius signing off, and hail to the king.